Gentlemen, welcome back to the shop. Today, a treat most especial, the Task Force 12825. I've been using this skookum little choocher for quite some years now, and today we're going to look through and see just why its chintzy factor stays so low. First, before we have a look at her innards, let's take a gander at the surmounting. Absolutely brimming with features indispensable on the job site. We've got a picture of a magnet with a hell of a lot of stick-to-itiveness, an 89.5 degree bubble level, and a couple megalumens of CREE down here in the Gorilla linkage area. Listen to that ka-chunk switch. You really know you're doing something. Now this little choocher is hermetically sealed. Of course what that means is it works just as good underwater as it does in a block of ice or a cloud of steam. Now that of course means it's also resistant to the ingress of dust. What for steam, of course, just being water dust. Now very striking right away is the battery pack. We see that we've got a couple of runaway pixies in there. We'll have a closer look at that later on, but I want to note before we get any deeper, this little bubble level. Now, a little tip for you home gamers, if you're ever working at a job site in the southern hemisphere, you're going to want to spin this around to account for the Coriolis effect. Otherwise, everything's going to be off by 5 degrees. Now, let's have a look a little closer here, see what else we can learn about the material. If you look right down in there, for the love of all that is focused, you fuck. ABS. Now, of course, that's a braking system. If it spins up too fast, it can stop, even if it's skidding on ice. Now, I've heated up the Phaco here, and we're going to see, at 50C, we are not touching it at all. Now, let's bring that up a little higher. Can I get to 150? Oh, ooh, I should move that. Okay, 75. And at 100, we're barely scraping her. But let's see if we can get right through. Okay, 225, 250, 275. Now there's 300C. Now let's have a look, see what we can... Oh, yep. Now did you hear the glass fibers on the way through? That's a reinforcement. It's something the plastic guys do. A little trick keeps it rigid. Now here in the Pixie ingress and outgress port, we can find a good old-fashioned hands job on the solder. Now, of course, bigger glob, better job. You can see this is nothing but good job. Now we're getting to the meat of her now. Let's see if I can remove the rotational gland end here. Now, she's in there pretty good. Okay, most of the way out. And there we go. Now we got her out. Let's have a look at her. 7.2 volts, which is of course the perfect happy medium between the expensive insulation that's associated with high voltage DC and the losses of the LV system. Now, as you can see, not a lick of Chinesium in her, and that's really good. You need to see that in an American-made tool like this. Now, let's see what we can learn about the gear ratio. I'm going to put a mark here. And we're going to put a mark up here. Now, let's count them as they go around. 1. That is a gear ratio of unity. Excellent for transmitting energy from input to output. Beautiful. No losses, no fancy planetary gearbox. This is the real thing. Alright, now let's get in a little bit deeper. Okay, those are just extra. You don't need any of that. Okay, alright. It appears we have released what little shmoo she's got. 2 more screws. Now, through the magic of time travel, I have read your comments, and I understand now that that was the fancy planetary gearbox. Let's get her out the rest of the way. Not a lot of help there. We're going to have to open her up the old-fashioned way. Now, I've just realized 7.2 volts. Now, of course, that means you can run it on anything that evenly divides 7.2. Now, common 120 VRMS AC power supply that we have here in the States will, of course, handle that just fine. So, we hook her on up here. Now, you're gonna want to engage your safety squints for this one in case something goes wrong, but let's give her a whirl. Contact. Yep, exactly what I expected. She chooched, and she chooched it good.
Gentlemen, welcome back to the shop. Sorry about kicking the apprentice out of the shop. Blowing the Jeezeless fuse for the 5th time today. So now that we've got the motor out, let's take a look at our failure mode. Let me just mount this in the vise here. There we go. Oh yeah!
Sometimes the vise fights back.
She's Chinesium scented, alright! There she is, gentlemen. Pixie cage. Keeps them in, keeps the apprentice out. Here we've got the pixie magic. Nice, skookum, Germany made switch. No detent. You don't want to know when you've reached the end. You want to just grab the thing harder and harder. Make sure it doesn't run away on you. Here we've got our little MOSFET. Now for you guys that have no idea what these are, like most of us, it's a useless tool. Doesn't do anything at all. Should just be removed and thrown in the trash. In closing, let's have a look at the directional selection multiplexer. This changes the device from conventional flow to electron theory. For you fellas with a fetish McTreak, that's the difference between a right-hand job and the reverse Rhodesian left-hand job. Thanks for watching. Keep your dick in a vice.
Thanks for watching. Keep your vice in a vice.
Thanks for watching. Keep your ice in the vice and the vice in the ice.